They call me Triple X because I have three of them. Divorce. Is it wrong? Is it something that we'll be judged for? Is it something that we need to ask permission to move on with our life from? Divorce. As I said in the opening, I have been divorced 3 times. They were painful. They were an emotional struggle. At no point did I fear the judgment of God for them. However, in the Catholic faith especially, it is wrong to divorce. And you have to get special permission if you ever want to get married again, and you have to have special permission to get divorced as well. They want to lock you into that. But let's look at marriage in general. Okay, there's really 2 facets to marriage. One, the legal facet. You and another person are connected legally for taxes and benefits and all sorts of collective financial needs. That's what a legal marriage is. The one that we allow ourselves to be judged for, and the ones that we allow ourselves to be held back from moving forward from, is religious marriage, or the ceremony of marriage. What is marriage? Now, according to Paul, it's marriage between a man and a woman, right? But that's a religious concept, right? What is marriage? Marriage is a commitment between 2 people who love one another. Marriage is a choice to decide to walk side by side with someone through life. And then you can go to the legal aspect and do all the paperwork with the state if you really want to. And which is, when it comes to like someone passing away or something, it's always much better if the person's married to them because they have many more rights of taking care of things. And it also saves a lot of stuff in probate and all that stuff. So, but that's the material world aspect of this. The spiritual world aspect of this is interesting, because the spiritual world is, if you love somebody so much that you want to commit to them. That's beautiful. You don't need a ceremony. You just need a commitment, right? The concept of marriage as it pertains to religion is to create more children in that religion. They want you locked into a Christian marriage so that they can continue their family of Christians. And that was what you did back in the day, right? But there is nothing anywhere that God says you have to get married. And there is nothing anywhere that says you can't get divorced. That unless it is 100% a religion-based belief. You can live happily your entire life single. You can live happily your entire life married. You can have multiple marriages. Look at me, right? You can live happily through your life. And there comes a point where you have to look at marriage in general and say, does it really work? And it's an individual thing, because for me, my picker's been broke, so I picked 3 people that didn't work real well over the course of time, and I figured out a lot about myself in that process. It was a complete blessing to be married to these 3 people. They are completely 100% a part of my growth, and I recognized a lot of things in those marriages, right? But the idea really comes down to marriage in general. Are you wanting a religious marriage? Are you wanting a legal marriage? Or are you really wanting to commit and love someone and see where it goes? See, you can commit and love someone and see where it goes, and it can work great for 10 years. And then if it stops working great, you can leave it. You're allowed. You're allowed to move on with your life. The key really is to find that loving place. Find that place within yourself that is joyful and loving, and share it with another. Or realize when it is not being joyful or loving, that it's time to go. Time to get out. I'm very grateful for a lot of things in my life. I'm profoundly grateful now that I'm out of those marriages. You need to create a joyful, loving life. And if you get into toxic relationships where one person's trying to subjugate the other or change the other because they don't like who they are, or all that codependent stuff, then you're not happy. And they're not happy because they're not happy with who you are because they're trying to change you. And you're not happy because you like you. And you don't, changing you is going to diminish you. So, what is marriage? Marriage is just a commitment. You don't need the church paperwork. If you want to do the state paperwork, go for it. Go for it. If you want to make sure that all that's in play, great. But the religious marriage and asking permissions and not being allowed to get divorced. My mom was a lovely individual. At the end of her life, one of the things that she said to me, she said a lot of things to me at the end of her life, but one of the things she said to me, she said that if she weren't Catholic, she would have divorced him years ago. If she weren't Catholic, she would have divorced him years ago. So instead of divorcing him, she remained miserable and in a bad relationship. Why would you want to do that? Why would you want to live in a place that's horrible or be around someone who's miserable? Why would you want to do that? Is that creating a loving world? No, and in essence, what's really creating is a tension within you that is going to be recognized out there in the world. You being tense, you being unhappy at home, definitely translates out around you, and people see it and feel it. Whether they recognize where it comes from or not is unknown. But what you're able to put out in the world, if your marital life is bad, affects the world. Your job is to create love and to be in loving relationships and do the loving things. And it's not up to you to be judged. Well, it is up to you. It's up to you to be judged. It's up to you to allow someone to judge you, to dictate how you're going to marry, how you're going to divorce, how you're going to bring children into the religion, how you're going to do all those things. That is your choice. But it's not their choice. It's your choice. You choose to buy into what they're telling you. You choose to choose their rules as the way it is. No one says you have to get married. No one ever said that. Premarital sex, that's a religious concept, right? Premarital sex. Because the paperwork with the state doesn't care if you've had sex. Does not care if you've had sex. Premarital sex, that's a religious concept. Love yourself. Find someone you love. Express that love freely and openly. Be safe. Make sure you do the right things. Don't bring STDs home, right? But freely love and express your love. And if your love is unaccepted by someone, move on. Move on. If your love is openly received and it doesn't feel right to you, move on. Move on. Follow your intuition. Follow your love, because your love is guiding you. If it doesn't feel right, you can leave. It's allowed, if you so choose. Have a great day, and I'll talk to you soon. See ya. Bye.